assigned seating.
How could you tell?
When you will hear that this means that property taxes are going to go up, what we're doing, when you hear this means instruction is going to have to be cut, that teachers are going to have to be laid off, take a deep breath. That's the folks down in Trenton who are trying desperately to hold on to their feeding spot at the trough. Because let's use Berkeley Heights as an example. You have about $400,000+ in your reserve surplus account. Now, we had taken under this formula up to 25% of reserve surplus if we needed to. It was the second pot of money we would look at. In Berkeley Heights, we're not taking any of the reserve surplus. So the $420-some thousand that you have reserved in your capital reserve funds will not be touched. There's about $1 million, a little over $1 million in your excess surplus account. You have remaining school aid payments this year that are due to you of about $700,000. So what we're going to do is not pay that school aid for the rest of the year, ask you to take out of the excess surplus account the $700,000 to pay for the rest of that this year. That still leaves you with about $330,000 in your excess surplus account and all $420-some thousand in your reserve surplus account for capital projects that you've been reserving for or that are contingencies that you need to worry about. And so the idea that what this is going to do is cause immediate property tax increases or immediate cutbacks in services or layoffs, using Berkeley Heights as an example, is just not the case. We're going to put our people back to work and they're going to start paying taxes again. But we are in an awful circumstance right now of people 10.1% unemployment, declining property tax revenues, declining sales tax, income tax, business tax revenues. That's all because of the awful national recession we're in and because of the awful job we've done in New Jersey in terms of overspending, overtaxing, and overborrowing. We're doing these things now to prevent exactly what your question supposes, which is a never-ending stream of continuing declining revenues because our states become non-competitive. That's part of what we want to try to fix, and the only way to do that is to take the tough medicine now. We need to stop pushing off the day of reckoning. The day of reckoning is here.
So recognizing that there are districts in the state that are fiscally conservative, if you will, and yet at the same time providing a very well-balanced education for our young people, how does the state, still trying to develop this level playing field, how do you go about recognizing the districts that are doing such a wonderful job with our children's education and yet seek out and find those leaks, if you will, where the hemorrhaging is creating all these budget issues? It just seems like a very challenging task.
It's impossible to do in the middle of the school year. So let's start with that. And the approach we took this year to fix the problem was a recognition of the fact that we couldn't make a differentiation between how people are, whether they're cautiously budgeting or not, or whether they're overtaxing, whether they're kind of squirreling away money unnecessarily, or whether they're being prudent. You couldn't really make that judgment in the middle of the school year. And I think everybody could recognize that. We're doing this on the fly. If I didn't make these decisions now, the next school payment would go out the door. That would take that $6 billion down to even less for me to be able to find the savings.